talk about music. Not just any type of music. Music that would be, I guess you could call it inspirational music. Music that has inspired a lot of, some of my favorite bands. Some of the bands that I really enjoy going to concerts, listening to. See, I got a lot of musical tastes. And, of course, I like heavy metal music. I like industrial music. I like it all. And one of the bands that my son turned me on to was a band called Chrome. And Chrome is, I don't know how you describe it, it's kind of like space punk, kind of, really amazing industrial rock. Probably the pioneer, Helios Creed, the pioneer of industrial rock. And, of course, he's with us in studio, along with Illuminati. Amazing to have them both. And it's funny because Lou, we were talking, and Lou met my son at a plaid pantry. Mm-hmm. That is just synchronistic as crazy. It just amazing.
That's what this band is always, random, cosmic.
It is cosmic. Yeah. And Helios, first of all, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah,
I'm glad you're here.
Glad to be here.
To talk about Chrome and talk about, I guess you could say, pioneering industrial rock. And I was talking with the crew here, and I was saying, you look back and you hear all those great Chrome songs, and you hear the experimentation, and you hear the production, and I'm a production guy. I mean, one of the things, even though I do a radio show and I'm heard all over the country, one of the things I cut my teeth on was good production, and that's why you hear the production in my shows. And it was experimental in my. We were influenced by groups like Negative Land and Nurse with a Wound and all these other EBN, but I guess you could say that you hear a lot of inspiration from you that you pioneered in bands like Nine Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson, Ministry. So tell us about, first of all, the production that goes into this, because this is pioneering production, and I'll bet you the technicians in the studios were like going crazy with what you were doing.
Well, basically, we both were into punk rock, but we were also both into psychedelic,
Right.
And that's sort of what attracted me to Damon. He was, I was trying to find a band to be in, or either that or make my own band. And I met Damon, and he wasn't into blues, thank God. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he was into this psychedelic crazy crap, and we just merged together, and what each of us did rubbed off, on each other. And so, I really, like you, I really attract to good production,
Right.
And to me, that's what I wanted to, get down with.
But it's not just good production; it's experimental production.
Yeah.
That's
what I meant. Experimental.
Right.
Production.
I don't know how I could describe this. It's like, what materials did you use that were unconventional? Because I can tell you, I just listening to your music, I have this mind's eye thing going on where I'm trying to think. So how did he get that sound? How did he get that one section of noise in the other section, and how did you all put it together?
Well, back in those days, we spliced, and it just took forever.
And overdubs?
Yeah.
Yes,
Things like that.
That's what I do. I do layering. I do a layering thing, and all the producers that I work with, I guess it's old-fashioned because I was using, back in the day, 18-track tape to do Ground Zero. And so I do the layering stuff, and I do the looping stuff. And
for your show.
Oh, for my show, yes.
That's killer.
And so that's why I can admire what I'm hearing in Chrome, because I know how tedious it is to get that kind of sound.
It's a lot more work than just having a band, recording them, and basically recording them how they sound.
Right. And here's the thing, too. The pioneering of what we call the voice coming over, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like the megaphone voice, or the voice of sounding like you're coming on a walkie-talkie.
We have actual phones with output jacks.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
We have different things.
I don't know if you want to give away your secrets. It's like the 11
Well,
herbs and spices kernels that you
people already stole every one of my tricks. I can't, The first one was a megaphone.
Right.
Just on full blast,
Right.
And that turned out to be a good And then you could use a phone like we do.
have
a phone that we use now.
So you're singing over the phone or doing it over the phone?
Every situation's
Yeah,
pretty much
it
totally
sounds
different.
a lot like that. You know, you could put it through a fuzz tone.
Right.
It's got
you
a
know,
little quarter
for
like
that
old
that
phone
voice. You
handle
know, and
with an output jack.
So have anybody really gone on the record, like somebody like Al Jorgensen or anybody like that, gone on the record saying that Chrome inspired me? Or
Yeah, Trent Reznor did. He said, "I want to make an album kind of Chrome-ish."
So yeah, Trent Reznor.
Yeah,
I mean
that's what I heard. I never read the article, but somebody told me.
Because I like I said, I mean, I know that the Butthole Surfers actually mentioned you, and
That was nice of him.
it depends on what era of the Butthole Surfers. Skinny Puppy, maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, they were fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's just some amazing stuff.
Well,
some of them were in
I
England.
think in that era, it was so much different. Where a band would be like a mythological thing
Right.
that you hear about.
Well,
and
that's
then
what this is. I
you
think
find
having
pieces of it.
Helios in here
Yeah.
is mythological.
Well, yeah, he
In a
is.
way, he's a myth. He's a
just
legend.
one of those guys.
Yeah.
He's that's why we're here.
So what's it like working with him, Lou?
It's great. It's like working with your best friend. We become like two kids in the studio. We're just including like we'll scream at each other sometimes, and we'll have fun though too. And we just always like. But Chrome is such it's such a je ne sais quoi, as they say.
Right.
So I've been with him since about the time when like Fukushima happened.
Okay.
So since like 2011, 2012.
Oh, okay.
And at first we were like, we got to finish the album before the Mayan calendar runs out, right? And so, but anyway, at that time it was, how do we figure out, me being the new kid on the block here, I found he was living up the street from me. We became friends. And what is it that makes something Chrome? And so we just had to go into it. But in those days, I think it was the splicing, the cut and paste, kind of like this Burroughs kind of thing.
Right.
And I think Throbbing Gristle is sort of the best touchstone for like a contemporary of his that shows you the umbrella of this genre that he and Damon Edge, when he talks about
Right.
Damon, this is Damon Edge, who's no longer with us, who
Right.
formed Chrome with Helios, or a little bit before and then Helios. But yeah, I mean, we find out that all kinds of folks are fans, of
You want to
different-
hear a funny story?
Sure.
Yeah.
Wanna hear a
Sure.
funny story?
Tell the funny story.
It's about Throbbing Gristle, Chris and Cozy and Damon. Well, anyway, Damon was hanging out with them, and he tried to pick up on Cozy in the back seat of the car.
Right.
And Genesis and Chris
Genesis
go-
Peorage.
Yeah, Genesis Peorage. Pull over. Get out of the car. And they let Damon out in the middle of nowhere. Now that he's dead, I figure I could say that.
He would like
right?
that
Yeah,
story.
he would like that
He'll
story.
haunt you in
That's
your
sort of
sleep
his
now,
style.
probably.
He
Yeah.
has a sense of humor that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're always like,
That's
what would
Damon.
Damon do? But going back to the
He
list,
can't
of-
help himself.
I would say this: Sonic Youth is on that list.
Oh yeah.
No doubt. I mean, because Helios, the
I
thing
couldn't
he
believe
did,
Sonic Youth opened for Bob Dylan. I remember that one time. I remember Bob Dylan was touring and
we had
Sonic
Kim
Youth opened.
Gordon in the audience in Barcelona.
Oh really?
Yeah.
We let what's his name in Sonic Youth?
Thurston.
Howell or Thurston.
Oh yeah, he blew
Yeah.
up your amp.
Yeah, he goes, "Can I use your bass amp?" He blew both speakers, both 18s.
Wow.
And I go, "Mark, why do you let people use your shit?" And Mark had to buy 2 new speakers the next day.
So when we're looking at the space punk sound, what inspired it? I mean, it seems like it's
Acid.
Acid. Well, I was reading somewhere that I guess what you created was basically what you heard at a Sabbath concert while on acid.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
how
it was
Sabbath
one of
sounds on
those-
acid?
One of those kid things that kids do. I did acid, went to see Black Sabbath. They scared the shit out of me.
Right.
And then I said to myself, that's what I got to do.
I remember when I was reading the story about your acid trip at a Sabbath concert.
Yeah, I took like 3 hits of Orange Sunshine. I was floating over my body.
Yeah.
Ooh.
How did that happen?
I don't know. My brothers had to hold me down in the car because I wanted to jump out the window.
Wow.
I just did too much.
Astral
But the
projection.
music was awesome on
Well,
it.
I remember reading that, and I thought to myself, I remember the first time I heard Electric Funeral when I was on pot, when I was stoned.
Ooh.
And man, that was amazing. Electric.
Yeah.
And Sweat Hog opened up for Black Sabbath. They were great too. It was the drummer from what's his name? God, Lee Michaels. You ever heard of him?
Yeah, Lee Michaels.
He had a really fat drummer.
Uh-huh.
He made a band called Sweat Hog.
That was around the same time you saw Hendrix down there in Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Tell me about Haleakala.
Yeah.
What about that?
What?
You're talking about
Haleakala
Well,
Crater.
if I can't tell them about that,
okay.
people think I'm crazy.
No,
That's what
that's what it's about, man. I mean,
it's
I
a
have crazy
visitation.
experience.
Okay,
What do you
never
think?
mind.
All right,
okay, so
all
you
right.
listen to Ground Zero, and you know how crazy I can get.
Yeah.
So
It's like,
This is
it's sort of
crazy.
like
This
Coast
is
to
nuts.
Coast.
okay,
And this is only one of the nut experiences I've had.
Okay.
What I told people, and people kind of rolled their eyes when I tell them this story, right?
okay.
This is before
Well, you just
you-
floated out of your body, so I don't know how crazy.
I
you
used
can
to
get.
like hiking through Haleakala Crater in Maui.
In Maui.
It's a really cosmic place. I grew up in Hawaii, so I sort of had a feel for it. And so I'm hiking through the crater with this redneck hippie. That's what I called him because he, you know what I mean? Hater talk like this.
Right.
And we were going down the main trail through the crater, and everybody had their own philosophy about it. And this guy came up to me. It just came out of nowhere. It's like he walked out of the rocks. And he looked really weird. He had a really good tan and blonde hair. And he started reading fairy tales to me. And I thought it was really weird. And he gave us each some mescaline.
Yeah.
A couple hits of mescaline each. Oh, great, I'll do some. Boy, that was tripping me out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this guy's reading what I'm going through in this fairy tale, it felt like. I go, oh, man, this is nuts. How did I get involved with this guy, with this? And he had keys to every cabin in the crater, which was even weirder because every one of those cabins are reserved for every day for somebody. But he had the keys, and we could stay anywhere we wanted all of a sudden. And we spent the night in one of the cabins. But I did have a vision inside the crater that the other guy didn't see. And I looked up the Hawaiian gods, and it was Maui and their sea goddess. They were dancing around each other like a waltz.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of freaking out what I was seeing. I never seen anything like that before. And then the guy took us to the cabin. I became straight, and I was talking about it. And we get back to town, Lahaina, and he goes, "You gotta seen him," He's making fun of me because I freaked out, He was going like this. Ah! And I go, "Shut the fuck up, man! I can't help it."
But the UFO that showed up.
Huh?
There was a UFO.
Oh yeah, in those days, for some reason there was all kinds of UFO sightings in Maui.
Didn't Hendrix himself say he had an experience like that too?
No, that's yeah.
That was what was that song that he did?
Third Stone from the Sun.
Well, it was the interview he did with the extraterrestrial. I think it was called ETI.
He was a channeler, no doubt.
I think it was called ETI, where he's talking with. He does that song on one of his albums where he talks about, I'm interviewing an alien from another planet.
Oh, he was hooked up. I had I toured briefly as a tour manager, sound guy for members of the Wailers, Bob Marley's band.
Bob Marley's band, yeah.
And one of them, Brother James, he's no longer with us. He's the best percussionist I've ever worked with.
Right.
Became a great friend of mine. He's telling me, Keith, man, Hendrix was an alien. He's going like these people.
Everybody. That's the thing that's most
I
weird.
Go, really, Brother James? He's like, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
telling you this stuff because there we are smoking a joint in the tour van. Everyone else is asleep.
Right.
But so as Los has told me in the past, he gets this visitation.
Well, we're going to talk more about that. I want to talk more about this
Right.
inspiration for visitations and everything else.
Yeah.
Helios Creed, Illuminati. Yes, guys, it is Chrome. Chrome. You bet. We'll be right back with more on Channel Weird. I'm Clyde Lewis.
AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Are you stressed? I mean, who isn't? Anxiety creeping in? No, not that. Is sleep hard to attain because your brain just won't slow down? We're living in crazy times, and the fear knob has been turned up. Okay, there's an answer. Take a big breath, exhale, and go log on to ancientlifeoil.com. CBD, broad and full spectrum, organic and non-GMO CBD for you to enjoy. Change your tune from fear to calm, from brain overload to clear thinking. 0.003 THC on full spectrum and 0% THC on broad spectrum. Competitive pricing with the best quality. Also know everything is going to get better. No worries, be happy. CBD can help calm so your nerves don't think they're a 6-string electric guitar. Enjoy life, smile, and log on to ancientlifeoil.com for great CBD. That's ancientlifeoil.com. You'll be glad you did.
Following a disaster, your home emergency kit will be invaluable. Building a kit doesn't take long, and you'll be glad you did when disaster strikes. Here's a list of items to include: a first aid kit, battery-powered or hand crank radio, flashlight, extra batteries, an emergency whistle, cell phone with charger, cash and small bills, a local map with your family meeting place identified, food and water to last 2 weeks, garbage bags, dust masks, and seasonal clothing and footwear. Add prescription medications or any other important items unique to your family's needs. Once you've created your kit, check food expiry dates once a year and update seasonal clothing for growing children. If you have pets, make sure you have everything your furry friends need in an easy-to-carry grab-and-go bag. To learn more about preparing an emergency kit, visit mil.wa.gov/preparedness and get 2 weeks ready.
Be sure to get your low-cost 2-week supply of food with a miraculous 25-year shelf life by going to preparewithgroundzero.com.
Have you noticed that well-known and controversial talk show hosts have recently been censored on the internet by corporate and political interests? This is Clyde Lewis from Ground Zero Radio. And in order to counter against the suppression of information, we've decided to create our own private digitalized playground called Aftermath.media. It's an exclusive online multimedia library featuring videos, movies, audio clips, archive shows, ebooks, e-magazines, documents, and so much more. Our news aggregator, Nucifer, provides current news relating to many of the topics we cover. We'll also be hosting other Ground Zero-friendly podcasts like Into the Paranormal with Jeremy Scott and The Secret Teachings with Ryan Gable. Aftermath.media has a social media platform along with a chat room to interact with many of our listeners. And about once a month, you can chat with me about anything. Mobile apps for Android and Apple are now available. The monthly subscription for Aftermath.media is only $9.99 a month. This includes exclusive access to our library and Ground Zero archive podcasts. If you're just interested in having access to the archive podcast, it's only $4.99 a month. So sign up today by going to Aftermath.media. Again, that's Aftermath.media. Hey guys, it's Clyde Lewis. Have you ever wanted Ground Zero merchandise but didn't know where to go? Well, I want to let you know that we now have our own online store with such items as t-shirts, hoodies, decals, tote bags, and other exclusive specialty apparel. There's a secure and easy-to-use shopping cart for your purchases. Coming soon will be signed posters and coffee mugs available as we are constantly adding new items. So shop today at the official Ground Zero store by going to groundzeromerch.com. That's groundzeromerch.com. The band is called Chrome. You need to listen to Chrome to find out what your roots are in industrial rock, space punk, cyberpunk. This is the Godfather, Helios Creed, along with Illuminati tonight. So glad to have you guys here. I mean,
It's great to be here.
yeah, I'm in awe of the production. I'm in awe of a lot of it, and so
You like the metal paper?
I do. I like this, and I'm glad you gave me a copy of this because I'm pretty stoked about it. Let's go back to the experience. Let's go back to what happened in Hawaii. Let's go back to being abducted, or because I was just saying to Lou, I said,
I wouldn't call it an abduction.
okay,
I would
like a
call it a
visitation.
phone call.
a phone call. What do you mean?
Well, I don't know. Me and my girlfriend and I had a bro, and we were all there. We were on mushrooms, yes, psychedelics. Once again, were involved.
Right.
But we were sitting on a hill, and man, things were getting crazy. Like visions and thoughts and stuff. And all of a sudden, I felt I could see chrome in my, the music, what I wanted to do. It was just clear vision.
Right.
And I couldn't figure out why I was seeing it so clear, and I knew what I had to do. And, and then Jerry taps me on the shoulder and he says, "Look up." I looked up, and there's a friggin' UFO right overhead, about 50 feet above us. But it wasn't in our dimension.
Right.
It was in another dimension, but
Correct.
we could see it.
Right.
But she couldn't see it. For some reason, only me and him could see it.
Wow. Did you know that you were saying it was like a phone call? I don't know if you're familiar with
Yeah,
them.
that's
I've
what I
had the
mean, like
phone
a
call.
psychic
Right,
phone call.
like it was a download.
Totally cool.
It was a download, right?
Yeah, download.
The reason why is
And
because I don't know if you know the story of Philip K. Dick.
Oh yeah.
Philip K. Dick had a Valis experience where he was doing psychedelics.
I had it without the psychedelics.
So you had it without
This
the psychedelics.
last year.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I've
But
seen
over
UFOs
time-
without psychedelics plenty of times.
Right.
But this was an experience with psychedelics, so I thought you'd be more interested.
Well, yeah, I
But
mean,
there's some knowingness that
but I'm
happens
just showing that there were a number of people. Uri
Yes.
Geller had the same thing
Tesla.
happen.
Even my mom had a UFO
Tesla,
experience.
you're right, Lou.
Do
Tesla.
you want me to tell you what I think it is?
What is it?
I think it has to do with the Black Knight.
Damn you! You're right. That's what I did a show about that.
Let me tell you something really
Okay,
quick.
let's talk about it.
The night that this happened to me, and my wife, we're in our home. I'm going, "Did you put acid in the food?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "We don't even know." Okay, this is one of these things again.
Right.
We get in the car. I turn the car on. The first song that comes on, Dead Meadow, Black Knight. And
Oh, my
we're
God.
going, this dimensional thing that he mentions. It's
Right.
as if the space between everything becomes like butter suddenly or goo. And time is just, we're driving down the road and I'm like, there's no one even out. And I'm like, we're not dead. We're not in a simulation. This is a visitation.
Right.
And so here's the irony. What's the first Chrome album called? The Visitation.
The Visitation, yeah.
And that came out in 75.
But it's interesting you bring up the Black Knight because it's
Yeah.
funny. I did a show about that because there was Uri Geller, there was Philip K. Dick, and there was another scientist, it was a nuclear physicist that also got the downloads. And they talked about how they had their experience and it was like some super intelligence. There was like a computer intelligence that's in space. And I can't remember the other guy's name. My wife interviewed him for her show. He was an Irish dude, Scottish guy, and he said that he was talking with Epsilon Bootes. They said that it was an intelligence from some place called Epsilon Bootes. I'll probably get the name of the guy eventually because
There's different
I'm still not wired
sources.
enough on coffee, but there are a number of people, including Helios and Ulu, that have had these experiences with downloads, and it's inspired them. Like it inspired Philip K. Dick to write a bunch of great. Now he's the most important or the most.
All of his stuff.
All of
was
his stuff
prophecy.
posthumously is like prophecy.
Yeah.
And then of course you and Chrome and how all of what you've done from 75 on has been inspirational for all the other industrial bands that have been out there.
Yeah.
In fact, I was listening today, reminded me of 1 minute, what is the name of that? It's on Antichrist Superstar, 1 Minute of Decay. I think it's the Marilyn Manson song. Reminded me of some of the loops that I've heard on Chrome. Also, when Bob Ezrin produced Destroyer for Kiss, I think the God of Thunder, if you listen to the background, that is so Chrome.
You want to talk about Kiss?
I wanted to.
Hold on, yeah.
I'll
We
get
got a
around
story.
to that. I wanted to tell you something about how the whole industrial thing sort of got started. It was a inside joke with me and Damon. Like, we had this girl working for us. That's when Chrome started selling some records and go, wow, this is neat. You know,
Right.
we didn't think it was going to work out.
Right.
So he hired this girl, and she had this little toilet, and she would eat at Burger King, you know, eat a lot of heavy food at Burger. She was just a little girl, so she'd have these big poops and stop up his little
Oh,
toilet.
come on. Listen.
No, this is true.
I know what story you're telling.
And I go, yeah, Damon, you need an industrial strength
Oh, that's
toilet, you know. And
yeah.
we were industrial strength this, industrial strength that. And then we were at a radio syndicated, you know, nationwide radio interview.
Right.
And we were joking with our industrial jokes. Yeah, Chrome is industrial strength music. We were joking around, you know.
So you think that maybe that was
Well,
where it
here's
came
what
from?
happened.
Remember
Here's
the
what
thing on
happened.
the
The guy
hill?
goes, "Yes, Chrome, industrial rock for the masses," and it just that
And
was it.
It's kind of like when they said what Kenneth Arnold saw.
It was
He
just
said,
a joke.
I saw the
And it's-
stuff spin like a saucer. They called them flying saucers.
And it's funny
Or like how
because
the name
it was
rock and
just
roll,
a joke
that
with
kind of
us,
thing.
but now the industrial scene is ultra cool. You know, your shit doesn't stink and all that shit. When with me and Damon, it was just a big joke.
Well,
So
they were
it's
just
kind
very
of-
real.
Well, you were joking around
real
about
But you know
guys.
what I'm saying.
yeah, about the terminology.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
theatricality in this field, and it's
Right.
part of the fun of it, of course. But like with this, it's a little different. It's more authentic, I think.
Right.
But what he's forgetting one thing, which is that they would drive to the studio every day, him and Damon in the '70s, and there's up on this hillside it says South San Francisco, the industrial city.
Right.
You remember?
And
you
we're in
told
the
me that
industrial district right now doing this show. By
Certainly
the way.
are.
The industrial district
Anyway.
of Portland.
You know, in driving under the pancake bridge, I call it,
Right.
where people got all these 60 people got pancaked.
Right. Exactly.
I knew that was going to happen, and
Well, you had some
I
vision
told
of it?
me and Damon. I used to say, Damon, I hope we're not here when that big earthquake happens.
Yeah,
'Cause
you
you used to
sandwich.
drive back and forth every day on that thing. And
Wow.
when it happened, I go, wow.
That'd be hell. That'd be hell.
Yeah.
So you were going to tell me about Bob Ezrin, or you're telling me about God of Thunder or Kiss or
Okay,
whatever.
okay. Well, there is a funny story. Now, I've found out that Gene Simmons now lives
Oh
in
yeah,
Vancouver.
go ahead.
Okay,
You can tell
Yeah,
that.
he lives in Mount Rainier now, I think.
he lives nearby.
Yeah, nearby.
But
He's
anyway,
close. Him and
so
Tommy Thayer are
here's
close
the
now.
funny story: is that when he had his reality show, he's doing this thing with his kid, and he's going, "I tell you what, kid, I've thought about your band, and I've got something that'll make you successful." And he holds up this picture, and it says Chrome, and it's like our logo.
Yeah, totally
So
our
at this
logo,
time-
our spelling,
and his
the way
son's
we
going-
make our C's.
Exactly, right.
And the kid is a nice guy. He's going, "Oh, Dad, why would I want to do that? It's like there's already a band called
Yeah,
Chrome.
he did
Who knows?"
already know about
And
us.
he goes, "Oh, they're probably losers that they didn't copyright it, so we'll steal it." He said this on television,
Oh,
right?
really?
Yeah.
He didn't think that once he was on Howard Stern or something, and people were harassing him. Like
My phone
Helio's
was ringing
fans.
off the hook from people. Hey, are you watching TV right now? Watching
I remember that
MTV?"
because he used to watch Family Jewels. I remember that time
Yeah.
when he said
Yeah.
that. I didn't know what he was talking about.
And it's funny. It's the video is out there, and it's just kind of one of our little inside scoops of the band. Like we walked into our new studio with this guy we were working with for a while, and he's got this cardboard cutout of Gene in the studio. I'm like, that is gonna have to
It distracts
go
you.
away,
Yeah.
No, but it's just, it's not.
Did you call him? You should have called him.
Nah,
You
man,
should've-
it's like pro wrestling. I'll sit here and call him out, but if I was in the same room, I'd probably be like, oh no, I met
You'd
his
probably
manager.
fan-
I met,
Oh, you met
I was
McGee?
in LA.
Doc McGee?
I was in
The
it.
guy
no, this other
basically
guy.
tried to steal our band
Yeah.
and was willing, if his son said, "Okay, Dad, do it,"
Yeah, he
would
would've
have
stolen it.
stole our band.
Would
I
have
met
bought it
this
out
guy,
front and easy.
Stole the lettering and everything.
Wow.
I met
That's
a
the
guy
kind of guy Gene Simmons is.
claimed to be his
and his
former
wife didn't
business
approve.
manager.
No.
And his son didn't approve.
No.
Tell him what happened to his wife and his son.
They're both kind of, well, I don't want to get into Gene's personal life, except that I met a guy
He likes
down
to
in
talk.
Guitar Center in LA, and people just talk, but he goes, "Oh, yeah, I'm formerly Gene's business manager." I'm like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah.
So I go, "I'll tell you a story." I told him, he goes, "Yeah, Gene is," I go, "Don't worry, buddy, we know." But
Always looking to
more
make the
power
buck.
to
Always
him.
copyright
more
this or
power
that.
to anyone in this day and age.
Well, I
think
mean, it's
all
just I
gravy.
think that once
We're still
again
here.
we go back and we have to look at where our roots are and
Yeah.
the roots of industrial. And you go to Chrome and they're the roots. I mean, what 75? Come on, that's long. That's what other bands can say they started industrial back in the 70s?
I would say Throbbing Gristle.
Throbbing Gristle.
Yeah, they were inspiring, but they weren't rock.
But even this
No.
goes back to like Stockhausen and John Cage.
They were industrial, and we were industrial rock. You see, we were the first industrial rock band.
Right. And of course, like I said, in the experimental nature of it all. I mean, there are a lot
And
of
the experimental, yeah.
there are a lot of
Sometimes it wouldn't
experimental
even be
bands.
rock.
I mean, Pink Floyd was experimental, I guess. I
Yeah.
guess Alan Parsons
We were both
project.
fans.
It's in that
Floyd.
realm. Yes.
So you're a Floyd fan too?
Yeah, both Damon and I were both Floyd fans.
Yeah.
I sampled Alan Parsons too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Eye in the Sky.
There are a lot of rap bands too that sample Chrome now.
No kidding.
Yeah, I know.
I recognize some
What?
samples. Yeah.
I've been telling you, man.
Yeah, they're sampling you guys.
It's time to start our rap career. Dude, there are bands called, there's rappers called Chrome. Like, we have to figure some things out. But
Well, inspiration. Right?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that
At least it's in
there.
hip-hop
I mean,
and it's
you
not
you
rock.
hear
I'm into it. No, I'm
you
at home
hear
with
some stuff
samplers
that
and-
sounds like it's being sampled.
Yeah.
And in fact, my wife was saying, "Man, you guys, you ought to use them for your montages."
Please.
Yeah, we'll make a,
Use whatever,
we'll make a
man.
mashup of all the songs that sample us. That would be
Well,
awesome.
all the stuff, it just sounds like something that I would put in a montage. It would be something that would, like, you know, here you are driving down the road listening to AM radio, and all of a sudden it goes, Clyde Lewis, Ground Zero, and all of a sudden
That
you hear
might be the
Chrome
way I make
coming
it.
over
You'll
the
never
air.
hear our song on the radio, but you're going to hear some hip-hoppers sample
Right.
it, and we're going to
Well, you hear a sample of it on Ground Zero, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, that's Chrome. People say, who's that making that sound?
Oh, when Nine Inch Nails came out, people thought, hey, man, Chrome made it, you know, and they thought it was us. And
Right.
unfortunately, I had to tell them the truth.
Well, I think what I like about Chrome versus all that, what people think commonly of industrial, is that Chrome stays kind of like, it's a little, you know, rough around the edges. There's a fearless aspect to it where it's like one of the reviews of our first record that we did together, Feel It Like a Scientist, they said that guitar tones were offensive. It was a foreign
Yeah, I
interview.
think
They go, oh, such offensive guitar
The only
tones,
people
you
that
know?
really, to me, really got the whole thing, the mistake, offensive, fucked up thing,
Like, not too
was the
polished.
Butthole Surfers. You know,
Yeah.
they sort of thrived on that, and they got that from.
And you actually worked with Throbbing Gristle, speaking of like that kind of aesthetic where it's real industrial. You know, the
I would
sounds
say
will cut you.
the
kind of
Chrome is the music
industrial.
of the xenomorph.
Oh yeah.
What do you think? I mean,
We
it's
have
like
a
if you
joke-
were to see a xenomorph
What's a xenomorph?
from
Xenobites.
Alien, or
Xenobite.
Xenobite. You
Like
see a Xenobite or a
Hellraiser.
Xenobite
That's
like an Hellraiser.
Tommy, our keyboardist, will go, oh Keith, that's a good jacket.
like
you look like a
Pinhead.
Xenobite.
It's all Pinhead.
Yeah.
Huh.
No, but a xenomorph, isn't that like the alien from Aliens?
Mm-hmm.
That it would be a Giger painting. If you were to,
Well,
if you
yeah.
look
Look
at
at
Giger
that word.
paintings, and
That movie inspired.
That's a
Chrome.
good point. This is like a musical equivalent of that. I see what you're
it's like
saying.
a Giger point. It's like watching a Giger
Certainly
picture.
is.
Seriously. Channel Weird right now, talking with the band. Well, we're talking with Helios Creed and Illuminati of Chrome, and we'll be back with more. Don't go away. Yeah.
AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Are you stressed? I mean, who isn't? Anxiety creeping in? No, not that. Is sleep hard to attain because your brain just won't slow down? We're living in crazy times, and the fear knob has been turned up. Okay, there's an answer. Take a big breath, exhale, and go log on to AncientLifeOil.com. CBD, broad and full spectrum, organic and non-GMO CBD for you to enjoy. Change your tune from fear to calm, from brain overload to clear thinking. 0.003 THC on full spectrum and 0% THC on broad spectrum. Competitive pricing with the best quality. Also know everything is going to get better. No worries, be happy. CBD can help calm so your nerves don't think they're a 6-string electric guitar. Enjoy life, smile, and log on to AncientLifeOil.com for great CBD. That's AncientLifeOil.com. You'll be glad you did.
Have you noticed that well-known and controversial talk show hosts have recently been censored on the internet by corporate and political interests? This is Clyde Lewis from Ground Zero Radio. And in order to counter against the suppression of information, we've decided to create our own private digitalized playground called Aftermath.media. It's an exclusive online multimedia library featuring videos, movies, audio clips, archive shows, ebooks, e-magazines, documents, and so much more. Our news aggregator, Nucifer, provides current news relating to many of the topics we cover. We'll also be hosting other Ground Zero-friendly podcasts like Into the Paranormal with Jeremy Scott and The Secret Teachings with Ryan Gable. Aftermath.media has a social media platform along with a chat room to interact with many of our listeners. And about once a month, you can chat with me about anything. Mobile apps for Android and Apple are now available. The monthly subscription for Aftermath.media is only $9.99 a month. This includes exclusive access to our library and Ground Zero archive podcasts. If you're just interested in having access to the archive podcast, it's only $4.99 a month. So sign up today by going to Aftermath.media. Again, that's Aftermath.media.
Following a disaster, your home emergency kit will be invaluable. Building a kit doesn't take long, and you'll be glad you did when disaster strikes. Here's a list of items to include: a first aid kit, battery-powered or hand crank radio, flashlight, extra batteries, an emergency whistle, cell phone with charger, cash and small bills, a local map with your family meeting place identified, food and water to last 2 weeks, garbage bags, dust masks, and seasonal clothing and footwear. Add prescription medications or any other important items unique to your family's needs. Once you've created your kit, check food expiry dates once a year and update seasonal clothing for growing children. If you have pets, make sure you have everything your furry friends need in an easy-to-carry grab-and-go bag. To learn more about preparing an emergency kit, visit mil.wa.gov/preparedness and get 2 weeks ready.
Be sure to get your low-cost 2-week supply of food with a miraculous 25-year shelf life by going to preparewithgroundzero.com.
Hey guys, it's Clyde Lewis. Have you ever wanted Ground Zero merchandise but didn't know where to go? Well, I want to let you know that we now have our own online store with such items as t-shirts, hoodies, decals, tote bags, and other exclusive specialty apparel. There's a secure and easy-to-use shopping cart for your purchases. Coming soon will be signed posters and coffee mugs available as we are constantly adding new items. So shop today at the official Ground Zero store by going to groundzeromerch.com. That's groundzeromerch.com. This was the second to last album. It's called Techromancy from Chrome, and they're going to have another album coming out soon. We'll talk to Lou and Helios about that coming up. But in the meantime, we want to take you live. We're going to play some live Chrome for you at the moment. And take a listen to this. It's amazing, the crowds, the sound, and capturing the moment where you're listening to Chrome and see how it feels. It's really loud and industrial, as they say. So here's a clip. It's Channel Zero, actually Channel Weird. I'm Clyde Lewis, and that's Chrome, and it's amazing that we were able to get some live footage. Chrome Illuminati's with us. Helio stepped out for just a bit. He'll be in just a second. So where was that that video that we played? Where was that taped? Where was that recorded?
Yeah, Brooklyn. A place called St. Vitus. That was a sold-out show. That was on our U.S. tour 2018.
Right.
Amazing show. And we went out. I saw some old friends there and everything. I mean, it's like the kind of people that this stuff brings out. Oh, it's just great. That show, there was no green room. We played some kind of underdog spots, you know?
Right.
And
Remember the first show in Europe?
Oh, yeah.
We played for 8 people.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
So we walk out through the
Even
crowd,
kind of
and it was like
funny.
that show. Remember when we walked out? We had to walk out with the audience.
And they weren't even looking at us.
We were all just like, "Whoa!" It was like being an
I go, it's great to
audience
be
member.
little
You're
again.
walking out of your own show like, "Holy cow, that was rad!"
I said to our driver, who was our driver then? I go,
Rochelle,
where in
Rash.
the hell are we, man? All I see is snow everywhere. Who would come to this show?
Over
Right.
in Europe.
You know,
he's
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about. That was Hamburg.
Who would come?
Well, a lot of people ended up coming on that tour. It was funny. We
Yeah,
had this
we
one
had
little
some
show
good-
at the
good
beginning of the
shows.
first Europe tour that I went on. This is 2014, and we get over there. We're
That's
not
when
sure
we
yet
found
if it's
out
really
Steve's
gonna...
true colors, too.
Oh. Well, we're not sure yet if it's really going to take off. You know, like
Well,
this is the first time in years the
He
band's
turned
going out
into
again.
Paul McCartney that night.
So okay, so when we look at, if you're a pioneer, which you
Mm-hmm.
are in industrial, okay, who do you? I mean, yeah, okay, Black Sabbath, you said, was the
Yeah, like,
impetus.
they sort of.
But who are the other influences? I mean,
Well, there's Jimi Hendrix, and for the lead. Although I tried really hard not to sound like him, but I went to see him 3 months before he died, and I think my mouth is still hanging open sometimes.
Right.
Listening to his records and looking at it live isn't the same as watching him live.
it's always the live experience they say you got to
Yeah.
capture before anybody really. I mean, depending on who you are. I mean, if you're a studio band, you're just basically,
So-
wankering around doing studio music. But if
And
you're
I
really
liked
getting,
Iron Butterfly back in
Oh,
the day,
my gosh,
too.
let's talk
I
about
thought
Iron
they
Butterfly.
were really cool.
yeah,
And I went to that was the first big concert I ever went to. Blue Cheer, Iron Butterfly, and what was the other band?
you know who really?
Well, anyway, doesn't.
Todd Rundgren's Nas. Remember that?
Yeah,
Oh.
I was a fan.
Opened my
I was
eyes.
a
I got to
fan.
drive Todd
Psychedelic
Rundgren
shit.
around one night.
Yeah, he was doing the psychedelic
He
stuff
played
at one
at the
time.
Star Theater.
He
over there.
was.
He's a
Yeah.
nice guy.
He turned me on to the Memory Man. He uses a lot, and Joe Walsh used a little bit of it too. And when I found my Memory Man, I go, "That's what I've been hearing them guys use."
I remember one time I did when I was doing classic rock. I actually was doing a lot of psychedelic stuff, pushing too hard on me and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It was really good. And
I'm
of course,
way garage,
Nas,
man.
and then
Nas.
a little Bowie. Doing Ziggy Stardust,
Yeah.
and that sort of stuff. That I really was into that. And you were talking about Hawkwind earlier, and how they too have a little bit of an influence.
One of our guys Helios was in Hawkwind for a while. Tommy, our keyboardist,
Well,
was
what-
also in
Nick
Hawkwind.
Turner's
toured him.
thing.
Toured with him.
And what else? Anybody else you actually directly worked with that you enjoyed working with?
Nick Turner, Genesis.
Yeah, you worked with Throbbing Gristle, Genesis Peerage.
Yeah.
You did work with the Butthole Surfers. You didn't really
worked
get full
with them.
credit.
Catfight. I
Yeah.
did Catfight on.
Right.
There's some other ones. That's like.
I've done a lot of guest
Kurt
appearances.
Cobain used your guitar.
Yeah, he used my guitar and Bleached. He didn't. He was before he made it. He didn't have a guitar.
So he used your guitar.
Yeah,
It was over at
I left
Jack
my
and Dino's
guitar in the
house.
studio. I just found out a couple of years ago. Did you know that was your guitar he used on Bleach? I go, cool.
It was Jack and Dino's place, and Helios's guitar. Was
I sort of
sitting there.
just left it there. I go, you guys could sort of have this as your studio. I didn't want to look at it because it went through a fire.
Right.
And it was a beautiful melody maker,
Right.
Gibson, and some of it was charred, and I couldn't look at it. I just sort of gave it to him.
So it's like I was saying, it's a dark ride through space when you're listening to Chrome. Dark ride through space.
Yeah, it's a crazy.
It's like you're looking at all these space creatures that are coming
But
at you in your
also
nightmares.
space.
Well, yeah, well, it goes into you. In fact, I was going to say something. This is going to sound really bizarre. I was listening to the video we played, and the music had something going through it that went right down into my bones. I felt it in my bones, and I know that it's just like. From me to God's bones, it was there.
Resonate.
Yeah, it was resonating in me.
Curious.
And yeah, I mean, it's not. See, when I listen to things, I listen to every part of it because being a producer and a production person, you can hear
the
everything
nuances that other people overlook.
Right, you can hear every little bit in there.
I'm into that too.
Yeah, because I know that I remember there was something that I guess Billie Eilish did, and it was when she did "I'm the Bad Guy." And in it, you hear this weird sound. And you know what that sound is? It's the sound that a traffic light makes when they want people to cross the street. It goes tick, 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 tick. And it was in. And I swear I heard that familiar sound before.
Yeah.
And I'm like going,
tactic.
what is this? And then I actually saw the guy that produces Billie Eilish. He says that was exactly what it was. I swear I was hearing that.
You know the click on the stove when you turn the stove up,
yeah.
click, 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 and it lights the stove. We use that.
We did a whole track on that. We were this is
right.
So what you're talking about, we did.
See, that's what I was getting at.
And we sing in showers too.
See, that's the thing. Is that
here's what I think is that the process that a lot of artists are using now is what he and now I have.
Well, that's why
doing.
it's experimental. It's amazing.
Yeah, we did this track where we had the guitar set up, a mic on the guitar. Someone lit the stove to light a cigarette, and the sound started coming out of the amp. Wop 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 wop. We go record that.
That's awesome.
It was really cool.
We're gonna take a break right now, and Helios Creed, Illuminati, Chrome. Gosh, this is a great interview. Great times. We're having great times. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
we'll be back with more. Keep it here on Channel Weird.
AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Are you stressed? I mean, who isn't? Anxiety creeping in? No, not that. Is sleep hard to attain because your brain just won't slow down? We're living in crazy times, and the fear knob has been turned up. Okay, there's an answer. Take a big breath, exhale, and go log on to AncientLifeOil.com. CBD, broad and full spectrum, organic and non-GMO CBD for you to enjoy. Change your tune from fear to calm, from brain overload to clear thinking. 0.003 THC on full spectrum and 0% THC on broad spectrum. Competitive pricing with the best quality. Also know everything is going to get better. No worries, be happy. CBD can help calm so your nerves don't think they're a 6-string electric guitar. Enjoy life, smile, and log on to AncientLifeOil.com for great CBD. That's AncientLifeOil.com. You'll be glad you did.
Following a disaster, your home emergency kit will be invaluable. Building a kit doesn't take long, and you'll be glad you did when disaster strikes. Here's a list of items to include: a first aid kit, battery-powered or hand crank radio, flashlight, extra batteries, an emergency whistle, cell phone with charger, cash and small bills, a local map with your family meeting place identified, food and water to last 2 weeks, garbage bags, dust masks, and seasonal clothing and footwear. Add prescription medications or any other important items unique to your family's needs. Once you've created your kit, check food expiry dates once a year and update seasonal clothing for growing children. If you have pets, make sure you have everything your furry friends need in an easy-to-carry grab-and-go bag. To learn more about preparing an emergency kit, visit mil.wa.gov/preparedness and get 2 weeks ready.
Be sure to get your low-cost 2-week supply of food with a miraculous 25-year shelf life by going to preparewithgroundzero.com.
Have you noticed that well-known and controversial talk show hosts have recently been censored on the internet by corporate and political interests? This is Clyde Lewis from Ground Zero Radio. And in order to counter against the suppression of information, we've decided to create our own private digitalized playground called Aftermath.media. It's an exclusive online multimedia library featuring videos, movies, audio clips, archive shows, ebooks, e-magazines, documents, and so much more. Our news aggregator, Nucifer, provides current news relating to many of the topics we cover. We'll also be hosting other Ground Zero-friendly podcasts like Into the Paranormal with Jeremy Scott and The Secret Teachings with Ryan Gable. Aftermath.media has a social media platform along with a chat room to interact with many of our listeners. And about once a month, you can chat with me about anything. Mobile apps for Android and Apple are now available. The monthly subscription for Aftermath.media is only $9.99 a month. This includes exclusive access to our library and Ground Zero archive podcasts. If you're just interested in having access to the archive podcast, it's only $4.99 a month. So sign up today by going to Aftermath.media. Again, that's Aftermath.media. Hey guys, it's Clyde Lewis. Have you ever wanted Ground Zero merchandise but didn't know where to go? Well, I want to let you know that we now have our own online store with such items as t-shirts, hoodies, decals, tote bags, and other exclusive specialty apparel. There's a secure posters and coffee mugs available as we are constantly adding new items. So shop today at the official Ground Zero store by going to groundzeromerch.com. That's groundzeromerch.com. It's chrome, industrial strength rock, or industrial rock. Helios Create Illuminati with us. Now, one of the things about chrome that I think that if you were in a dark room and you were listening to chrome, you'd probably be able to summon the ghosts. You'd probably be able to summon maybe the demons. The demons or the ghosts.
You might meet Damon.
Yeah, maybe Damon rising from the grave or something.
Yeah.
Tell me about now. You've had the alien experiences. Have you ever had paranormal, ghostly,
absolute
demon encounters while
go ahead
working on
You're good at
music?
Explaining things, and
Well,
you're the one who turned me on to it anyway.
He always says, "I never met a ghost until I met you."
Well,
like,
I think I had a paranormal.
no, you had some.
The apartment I lived in. I told you about that one spirit that wanted to screw through me.
He had a sort of
it's been so long since I had sex. Could I come through your body? And
that's an incubus, succubus experience.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, he didn't. He didn't screw me. He wanted to screw the girl I was fucking.
No. Ghost fucker.
Yeah, I don't know what you call him, but he was an okay spirit.
Gosh,
he's like a very.
Lucy Liu said she had sex with a ghost.
I
remember that. Somebody else.
Everyone
a number
in Hollywood knows this
people
stuff.
have had sex with ghosts.
It happens.
It happened in them Ghostbusters.
I never had one
Yeah.
try having sex with me. But,
Getting lucky with a
I
ghost.
did see it when I went to
Between the sheets.
Kauai.
Kauai?
Some guy got succubus attacked him, screaming, woke everybody up.
He was telling the story.
Oh my god.
He was staying somewhere.
Yeah, I was staying somewhere.
And there's this guy going, help, the succubus trying to get me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, no, so, yeah, I found out, like.
What about our story about we took a picture inside that place?
So we were at the Rispin Mansion in Capitola, California, Santa Cruz,
and
California.
we got a picture of a demon.
I stuck my camera in the boiler room through this hole in the window, and we zoom in on the phone. My roommate,
I could peek in the window. I was
very
tall
kind of
enough.
like straight person, goes, "What's that?" I go, "What?" We zoom in. I go, "It looks like a skull." We zoom in. It's like three faces: the face of a dog, the face of a guy with glasses, and
the face of a demon,
Yeah.
like the scariest demon
and
I ever
orbs
seen.
everywhere. So what did we find out? The place is haunted by a nun,
No kidding.
a dog, because it was a police dog training center. And
There's
it's haunted
even
by
a
the
show
owner.
about it.
Yeah, it's a very famous place. And so earlier on, I had taken some ghost hunters through there to do an article for a school paper, right? And I'll tell you, man, like, it was very frightening. And I had the cold spots and all this stuff. And it's what I realized as I went along was, wait, I'm one of these people.
Yeah.
And then, so, and then we get to talking when we first meet, and we were like, Okay, yeah. So we half the time we talk about being guitar players, and the other time we talk about metaphysics.
Well, he wasn't even in the band. We were friends for about a year or
Yeah.
something.
Right.
And so anyway, one time we stayed at the Hotel Cecil, and
You stayed at the Cecil Hotel?
Yeah.
on accident.
Then I climbed up onto the roof. They said, you can't go to the roof. And we went in the very elevator that, what's her
Elisa
name?
Lam.
Elisa Lam.
Yeah.
And it was already on the top floor, the
We
one
walked
we weren't
in.
allowed to
I was
go
on
to.
crutches. We were
so it
staying
went
there to
right
do
to
an
the
album.
top floor. We got out, and the window was open.
Is
It
it
was almost
Ramirez?
like
Ramirez
Yes,
was
it
there.
was Ramirez.
Ra-
That's what I think.
guided
Richard
us.
Ramirez. Nice
guy
guy.
And then
was
I go,
complete-
look, the window's open. I could climb to the roof. And I climbed to the roof.
I'm going
Right.
And I
crazy.
saw the very place where she was found dead, floating in the. And
And a lot of people commit suicide there too.
Yeah.
So
We had a
they go there and
friend-
commit suicide.
There's
the Black
evil
Dahlia used to
Yeah,
hang out
that
there.
place is a nexus.
Yeah.
But for us, it was showing off the place.
Yeah, it was. We walked.
It
here's
gave
what's-
us a
well, I'll
tour.
paint the scene. I'm on crutches. I'd been in a car accident. We're going to the
was
elevator. I go, hey, what if we
bizarre,
went and
man.
checked out the top floor? The doors close. It's already taking
We
us to
didn't
the top
press
floor.
the
We didn't-
buttons
no
on
one
the
else was
elevator.
in the elevator.
They
and
told
it's
us we
going-
couldn't go up there.
I go, shit. And,
Yeah.
we get
And
up
it
there.
took
There's
us there.
flies buzzing around. The window is open. I'm like, dude, whoa.
So there's a lot of bad juju there. That
Yeah,
Cecil, you
yeah.
feel it badly.
I was crazy
Well-
climbing up that ladder. I could have fallen 9 stories.
He just, something comes into him, goes, I'm going to jump on the fire escape.
Just don't look down.
It's like a 20-story building. He crawls up. Whoa, it's the tank. I'm in there going, you're nuts, dude. Don't fall. We have to finish an album.
That's how I broke my back. I had an RV. I climbed up on the ladder and fell just
But
that
luckily, he didn't
far.
fall.
I
off
can
the
just
building.
imagine if you wanted to, like, if they would let you cut an album at the Cecil.
Ooh, I wouldn't want to.
And you can imagine, with all the sounds
I
you
don't
get
know,
when you
man.
pick up
Well,
some EVP,
so
get some
I
voices.
we put EVP on that album.
If we survive
I
it.
had a ghost in my house in Santa Cruz that was turning the lights on and off. It was playing pranks on people. So I pushed, I got a recording going. I had to always have a little mix place,
Yeah.
I go, I would like to ask you some questions. Are you the one that's been turning the lights on and off?
Right.
I walked to the bathroom. I have the whole tape. It was a really creaky, spooky old place.
Yeah.
Santa Cruz, weird. I come back. I check it out later. I get all John Travolta on it, like in the movie
Exactly.
Blow Up or whatever.
Yeah.
Blow On, Blow Out. And I hear this voice, and it says, yeah, I turned the lights on. And it sounds like a clown or something.
Yeah, they do. You know, I think.
And it was that these people were in bed, and something kept turning the light back on. They would go up and turn it off, and
Yeah.
it was to do with me though, because there was things going on around there that were like people were trying to kind of take over my home, if that makes sense. So I'm like, this thing is pranking people to make my life easier. This is very strange. So we ended up taking that and we just put it on the record.
The
I'm gonna leave it
EVP.
at the
That's creepy. Putting the EVP.
I
in.
know this sounds bizarre, but
No,
just,
it
when
makes
you're making albums and stuff too, you're just like nothing's out of the picture. It's
Speaking
weird.
of albums, you got anything new coming out? Because I know that you were talking about a new album.
Yeah, we do.
What you got?
Yeah, we do. About a few months.
It'll come out in a few
Brand new
months.
Chrome
Coming out
album.
on Cleopatra.
Cleopatra
Records.
Yeah.
And you guys going to tour with that album? I mean, most people go out and tour.
Hopefully, if they
Yeah, we
open
are.
things back up.
That's true. I
We're
mean,
gonna
I
do it.
forgot
I
all
mean-
about that. It's like, but then again, they're lifting things. You may be able to go out on tour again. Some of the bands will be able to go on tour again.
The
Well, I
narrative
know
is
the way I
changing.
feel about shows. I'd go out and see the Muppets play Hollywood. I need to see a show so bad right now.
I would say yeah. I mean, my wife and I are hoping that theaters are open for King Kong versus Godzilla because that's coming out
That's
in
a
March.
good target.
Yeah, we hope that by
Yeah.
March we can see it on the big screen rather
I
than
feel
HBO
that
Max.
People
The
can only
narrative is going that
handle
way.
so much of this. I mean,
Yeah.
the flu is still killing more people. That
To keep it away from any
It's
sort of politic,
ridiculous.
it's just that I
I'm
feel that
sorry.
some of
Okay,
this
so
is
I don't
wanna get started on
theatricality,
this thing.
and I think
Yeah.
it's shifted back. They can't just shut everything down forever because at the end of the day, when we're talking about any of the
Well, it's-
alternate
If they can riot in
possibilities-
Washington, if
They're
they can
killing
riot
the-
in Portland, they can riot at a Chrome concert, don't you
Well,
think?
killing the
it will be a
economy.
beautiful thing when we do get to go out in about the fall, and we've been asked to play at least one festival in the fall. So
That's good.
We know that this Underground Railroad is starting back up.
Well, it's good because I mean I think people need to get back. Like I said, rediscover if they haven't discovered.
Yeah.
Discover.
It's our time. For sure.
Chrome.
Yeah, I
It's
wanted
gonna be
to
a good
go
year
back
for us.
to the paranormal thing. I never did get to say anything.
Oh.
Oh, well, we're out of time.
Oh, you are.
That's
Well,
why I wanted to talk
okay.
about the new album, plug
Oh,
that.
yeah, I see.
The new tour, if it happens,
Yeah.
because of that.
Who knows?
But we had a
It'll
lot.
happen.
There's a lot that's been crammed into 1 hour
Yeah.
here.
This
So
has been great.
yeah.
Helios
This
Creed.
1 hour?
It's been 1 hour.
All right.
Helios Creed. You could do this all day, couldn't you? We're having a great time.
We'll
Yeah.
have to do it again, hopefully.
Helios
Yeah,
Creed.
I lose track of time and everything.
Thank you for being on.
Yeah.
Lou, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Illuminati.
Clyde.
Chrome,
Pleasure.
guys. You got to either rediscover or discover. You're going to find yourself going on a really wild space punk trip. Thank you for joining us today on Channel Weird. We'll see you again.